Jim mentioned earlier that they have around 20% reduction in manpower. My question is, with the technology advancement year after year, in the next 5 to 10 years, what are the projected expectation of manpower reduction? And the second part of the question, with this closed monitoring of staff, knowing where they are and following them all the time, has that impacted the productivity in a negative manner or a positive manner?
It's not a like-for-like saving. 20% reduction in costs is 20% saving in manpower, because our customers want to see people. The tenants, the communities want to see the people there, because then they know they have peace of mind that jobs are being done. Now, where it becomes more efficient is we can actually use the data that comes in to try and analyze how many staff we need to carry out the task, and be much more dynamic with the information we've got. So that's what we're looking at doing, and to try and reduce staff accordingly. So it's not a like-for-like.
Questions? I have a question. Samar, you actually made a very specific point about the app, the IoT, the wearable, reducing cost. Did the app reduce the cost, or did our analysis of the situation help us manage the cost reduction?
The app was actually one of the biggest success cases we've had, where the cost reduction was highest than any other investment in technology. It has significantly reduced the paper utilization. I think it was about 60-something% reduction.
But my point is, did the app reduce your cost, or did your knowledge gained from the app's analysis help you reduce the cost?
The app actually reduced the cost because it replaced manual processes, 100%.
Okay.
Paper utilization, approval process that took long time, that was all replaced by the mobile application.
A very interesting thing. We all talk about technology and how it benefits us. Does it really benefit us in terms of the bottom line that we're all talking about, right? Cost. And I think that Jamil said, my colleague or ex-colleague, how people feel. Are we being big brother using technology? One. But where is the real saving? I don't see the saving as a client. I don't see it, guys. I just see add-ons.
Okay, let me paint a scenario for you. And if you are an operational person, I would, in return, ask you a question. How much do you spend on manual permits to work, or toolbox talks, or quotations? I won't go very far. Tell me, in percentage, approximately, how much do you spend on papers? And what is the average time that is required for that paper to pass on from one level to another level for approvals?
20 years. Everybody uses email.
Everybody uses?
Everybody uses email. Today, email has been replaced by IM, instant messaging, right? Whether it could be WhatsApp or whether there are various other tools. So you can still do the same thing digitally rather than paper. So if you're saying paper, very fact here. We're in a conference room talking about technology and you have paper, right? Why?
Gmail
so
is an
what I'm saying is, we always look at technology and paper, but I think we have to get down to the basic fundamental.
I completely agree with you.
Right?
But an email itself is technology, and it is an application that actually replaced the paper letters that we used to use back in the days, and that is by itself efficiency, optimization, and cost reduction. So I refer to the approvals. You said emails, and email is technology.
Without making it very difficult for you guys, I'm pro-tech, yeah? I'm not somebody who's against tech or cynical about the role of tech in our future. I talk tech every day. However, the question that the gentleman asked is perfectly right, and I believe answers all other questions and either gives content or throws content out of the window. He asked, I'm not seeing it as a consumer to my bottom line. So if he's talking probably about service charges in a building, it's not reducing. So if you're improving your cost, is it reflected in your profit? If that is what it is, it's understandable and it's interesting. But if it's not reflecting in your profit, neither is it reflecting in his bottom line. Where is it reflecting?
Okay, I put a slide up here with regard to the data that we're capturing. So at the beginning, we're talking about, we believe that we hit now 95% SLAs, right? But there's no proof of it. There is no proof. So technology has to be brought into play. One, to help the customer know what he's getting. Secondly, that we know what we're doing, okay, and we have proof for it. So what we're trying to do is use technology to actually help with the tracking, okay, the data, and make sure it's available at any time that we want to analyze that. The second thing is by using the data correctly, you can actually have data, but if you don't have the right person reading the data or looking at the data, you cannot get the benefit from that data. And this is what sometimes we can build an algorithm to actually compute that, but sometimes you need a human interface. And human interface is critical in making sure the right person's reading the right data to get the best out of that information. That's where you'll make savings on productivity. That's where you'll make savings on efficiency. And hopefully, when it comes to the customer, actually setting up a tender in place, he'll need less people to do the job required in hand, because there's so many admin staff, there's so many people required to present the information that the customer wants. And I think that's the critical area of investing in technology and actually producing efficient results.
A very good point, Jim, and it was the point that I was sort of raising when I addressed this to Samar before. Is it the app? Is it the IoT solution? Is it the technology that's reducing our cost, or our analysis of the data that's being driven from this capability where we can take the actions? A very good point. Fahad?
Analysis, as you rightly said, because yes, the technology is there, but how are you going to use that technology to derive results is what is, again, as I said in my presentation, the objective is the key. What's your objective? What's your end results? Is it to customer service? Is it to improve your service? Is it improve or manage or maintain the KPI as per the contractual requirements? That's important. And how you can use technology to get there is what the question is. So
I go back to
every company might use it differently.
I've been an Excel user for probably longer than somebody who's been on this earth. Excel has just been part of my management in career. Entering data, it's a digital process, but it was much easier than handwriting everything. But I still had to act on the data collection that was being involved, and that's a very valid point. We have time for only one more question.
This is a great thing in this forum to hear all the individual lessons learned and what has been the byproduct or the benefit, let's say, of adopting the different portions of the technologies that you have. A suggestion for us, for the industry, and for everybody to benefit from this, if maybe an offshoot from this conference is maybe publishing to wherever you can publish, because some of it might not be able to be disclosed, what are the lessons learned? Because every client might have different needs for different projects within the same client organization. You know, we might be looking on a specific contract where we need to maintain the service charge, and we push in more on the technology to support, or maybe push it down in the tendering early on where we can bring more innovation, and where we can say we're not rigid in tendering this project, you have to show me 10 bodies on the job. That's not what we're looking for. And the second thing, which is very important, like my colleague was mentioning, Jamil, before, is also the customer element too. Some people still have a little bit of a notion that, do I trust, not trust, is it data, whatever the data is there. I don't see people, you know, trimming the trees.
You're absolutely right. There's no one size that fits all. It's definitely from size to client to client, projects to projects. This has to be done bespoke, understanding the requirements of that particular project.